Okay, folks, we're going to go ahead and get started here. It's a good thing that I don't go to Las Vegas and place bets, because if I were a betting man, I'd say, well, a rainy old January night, we'd have maybe 5 people, and actually I think we've got more people than we've ever had. So, starting over here with BW, introduce yourselves.
BW Blanton, KJ4EDR.
Pat Heaton, I've been Lee 4 Whiskey.
Linda Dawson, AK4GZ.
Lynn Dawson, AK4J.
Tim Hayes, KG9NA.
Brad James, WA4HBM.
Greg Price, WEWJK.
David Dawson, 4ESN.
Roger Colvin, KJ4YSY.
That works.
Works for me.
KG4TTK.
Ron Ritchie, KF4MOA.
Smokey, K6IBK. Wilson, M4SQT.
Bob, KI4JWK.
Okay, thanks, folks. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, if I count myself. Thank you all for coming out.
Who are you?
Chris, KU4A.
There you go.
Now you're on record.
Yeah. And I forget to introduce myself, so.
And the repeater did not ease, so you can't count in.
Okay, first of all, I don't know where the default is to leave this thing. I'll leave it on Ron and Smokey over there.
Oh, thanks.
Make funny faces or something.
I was told when I came in, I was the ugliest guy in here, so.
Okay, it's a odd numbered month, which means that we'll be eating at the Frisch's on Harrisburg Road. A very common haunt of BW over here. So let's see, how many Thursdays do we have left? The 16th, the 23rd, or the 30th? Now, typically we would do it on the 23rd. Does anybody have a problem with the 23rd, of those of you that want to go?
Roger has appointment then.
Okay,
1 o'clock.
can't make it on the 23rd? Okay.
What about the 16th?
16th, okay, which is this coming Thursday. That doesn't bother me any. Does anybody that wants to go have a conflict on the 16th? Does that work for you all, Linda? Okay. So let's make it the 16th. Usual starting time is 11:30, and that's the Frisch's. So that's this coming Thursday. So I don't know if I'll get on and get in the Yahoo calendar in time to get notifications out. So make sure that you don't forget. I'll try to remember to get in there. Okay. Let's just let's just kind of throw it wide open for anybody on any topic. I doubt if anybody's been doing any field work, but we always like to talk about kit building, new equipment, antennas, operating, anything. Have you all worked anything interesting running QRP? I know Brad's going to talk about a tube radio that he's thinking about building. You want to start, Brad?
I can do that. I've always been interested in tubes, and I found a thing on the internet a couple years ago that fascinated me. It was called a West Kit, 1 tube transceiver ham radio. It used a 3A5 tube, which is basically 2 triodes in 1 envelope, 3 volts for filament, and I think 90 volts for the plate. One of the triodes is used for transmitter crystal control, and the other one was used for a regenerative receiver. It had a coiled base-loaded antenna that fit on top of this thing about so big. Stuck it up in here. You can find this on the internet if you get one chance to read about it. So I would like to reproduce something like that, except I want to have a better transceiver with the 2 stages, crystal control oscillator, and the 1-stage amplifier to go with that, using the same type tube, 3A5, and make a regenerative receiver with 2 stages of using a different 3A5. So I would have a 2-tube transceiver. That's one of my ideas, one of my goals, right there. Questions on that? Anybody else like to play with that kind of stuff?
What are you gonna use for a power source?
Well, I was thinking about using 9-volt batteries.
Oh, just a whole bunch of them?
It's a whole bunch
Yeah.
of, if it was supposed to be a low power deal to start with. I think it used the original used a standard, I think, 90-volt radio battery.
Yeah.
But it was a kit and was designed to be portable.
In a pinch, once you get it up and going, you could always build you a DC supply and step it down to, resist it down to 90 volts. And that voltage isn't critical. You could probably run it higher. It wouldn't hurt anything. Yeah. Okay. Well, keep us informed on how that goes.
I will.
Okay, who else? Roger, you got anything to report?
Yeah, I now have got a rock mite
Rock Mike?
transceiver kit. There for a long time, they was made by your Small Wonders Lab, I think it was putting them out for a long time. Now the QRP ME feller is making the kits up. He's made a couple of little improvements to it, and he's putting them out now. And I just got it Saturday, so I haven't started any construction on it. And I know it's not QRP, and so far I haven't used QRP with it, but I do have PSK 31 up and running now. I got my macros set up and everything, but I've been running 20 watts,
Mm-hmm.
and everything's been working good with that. But right now, that's the only kit I've got that I'll be working on here in the next little bit.
Okay, tell us a little more about it. Is it one band? Is it multiple bands?
Yeah, I got it for 20 meters.
20 meters?
And I'm going to use it for, I guess I had in mind is more or less of like an emergency radio. 20 meters, especially during the day, you can almost always find somebody on 20 meters.
Right.
So, it's pretty good, and your antenna isn't so long, like 40 meters.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I picked 20 meters.
Okay. Is it crystal controlled?
It's crystal controlled. And they're pretty simple. But boy, I mean, they must have sold tons and tons of these little radios.
Yeah, I think they're pretty popular.
And they put out anywhere from about 250 milliwatts on the 9-volt battery up to about a half of a watt if you're using 12 volts. So, and they'll take up to 14 volts, so you might get, just a little bit over a half a watt out
Okay.
of one with using like 13.8 volts or so.
Okay. Yeah, is that the same one that the fella had? Well, no, you weren't here. You weren't here in December. I think he had a rock mite. I may be wrong about that for show and tell. Yeah, Greg.
I know one guy had a Pixie here at one time.
Okay, that may have been what it was. Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Well, since the last meeting, I finally got around to building the automatic antenna tuner for my Elecraft K1.
Okay.
Got it installed. And it's really simple. It's just a little board about that big that has a bunch of little bitty relays on it, a few resistors and capacitors.
So it's a kit.
It's a kit, and very much like a Heath kit in terms of the way the manuals are written. Really easy build. But so I got that done, and I've also finished building actually two dual core 4-to-1 current balance, low power current balance. Need to package them yet.
Okay.
They tested out fairly well as far as impedance transformation and loss and so forth. And I brought a special tool for QRP. Just what everyone needs.
Yeah, Brad needs that when he's working on his radio to make sure that 90 volts doesn't.
Well, because that's what you need right there.
That's a 50,000 volt voltmeter.
Yeah, Bill Fuquay might be interested in
That's
that.
who it's for.
Oh, really?
Do you see Ernie Pridemore in the Jaws list? Actually, he may have cross-posted the bars looking for a pull peg. So he has 7,200 volts for an amplifier he wanted to build.
Yeah. Bill tried to talk him out of it.
Okay, how about Glenn and Linda?
We've been on leave for a while, probably will be for a little while. Y'all, some of you may not know, I've been fighting a battle with chronic pain disease for about 7 years.
Uh-huh.
And we were trying something different, and they put me in a pain pump. And it's gonna be good when they get it done, but the road to get it done is a rough and rocky road.
Non-narcotic,
Huh?
the non-narcotic.
It's a non-narcotic pump. That's good. I was real excited about getting that done, and so that's where we're going, but I'm just not gonna try and get in front of anybody and talk to you and concentrate on anything because I can't. That's pretty much what it amounts to.
Yeah, okay.
What?
Got the camera in the
No, actually, yeah, I've been playing with Radio Deluxe. What that is, I put that on my, I got it on Kindle, got the, not the Ham Radio Deluxe program, but I got the digital stuff. Go read it, read it.
Now, have you also looked at DM 780, which is the
Well, that's
digital part of that?
That's part of it. yeah.
Okay. Does it work pretty well for you?
No, not yet.
Okay, because I've got an old free version of HRD.
I haven't got
And-
it. I have bought it, so.
In the DM 780, there's just something wrong with it on transmit, and I can't for the life of me figure out what it is. And so I don't use the digital modes part of it. You know, I still use Digipan and Mix W and stuff like that. But there's just something not right.
I bought it, so I can call
So
them.
you
up.
got a newer
I
version.
bought it from them, and I have a year's, I can call them, and they will actually set the thing up for me if I want to do that. They'll sit right there and set it up for,
Uh-huh.
do every bit of it from one end to the other.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, I'll get there,
That's like $99, isn't it?
$90. What it is you buy it, it's yours for life, belongs to you at that version. And, the next year and years that follow afterward, you pay 50% of the going price for that year for service. Their service is wonderful. So, really good stuff.
You know, it's nice to know that somebody services their stuff,
Right.
even though you have to pay for it, but.
You do have to pay for it.
Yeah, if you get service, you gotta have the bad one right there.
I'm radio dog.
Okay, who else has, Pat, have you been doing anything in QRP? Yeah.
No, not really. Been listening to Pete. Pete's on 40 meters. And
Yeah.
Here and,
I heard him today too.
yeah, that's great, man. I'm
Yeah.
glad he's got an antenna.
And for those of you that, if you might have missed what I posted in KY-QRP, of course, we're discontinuing the miles per watt contest because just due to lack of interest. We've tried our darndest to make changes and stuff to get people interested as they were years ago, but it didn't work out. But Pete won 40 meters and 10 meters. 10 meters, he talked to a guy in Australia on the AWL 10 meter contest, over 10,000 miles. So it was over 2,000 miles per watt. And then on 40, he worked a guy in Poland, and that was the best 40 meter contact that we had. So Pete had a lot to do with getting KY-QRP back up and going again after a long absence, but he never really had much time to operate. Well, now he's got time, and somebody put an antenna up for him, and he's just going gangbusters with his FT817. So I mailed him his certificates. Anybody else with anything? Operating, kits, new equipment, antennas. Anybody going to the Bahamas to operate on the beach?
I wish.
Wishes don't count.
Wish is the wish.
And if you are, do you need anybody to help you carry your stuff up to the, to your room?
Beach to the bungalow, right?
Yeah, really.
You need somebody to keep an eye on your
I'll
car.
hook you up with that.
Your equipment while you're sitting out on the beach, yeah.
And something else I'll toss out, we've discussed both at meetings and in the forum about like vertical antennas with radial systems and stuff like that. And I have in my possession a box of official DX Engineering radial spikes. You know, they look sort of like this, only much longer, so that you can spike your radials into the ground. If anybody needs some for a ground radial project, let me know. They didn't cost me anything, so I can make them available. I still say that plain old bobby pins works good and they're dirt cheap, and that's what I used for mine. But some people want to get a little fancier, so I was looking at the box of these things, and then on one end I noticed it says DX Engineering, so it's an official ham radio product.
Oh, well, how big is it?
They're probably that long, and then I think they're fairly wide too. I mean, they're much bigger than a bobby pin.
You have it for sale.
Well, I don't know.
What are they made out of?
I don't know. I'll try to remember to bring one in sometime and show you. And I don't know how many I have, but if somebody in the group, wants them,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make them available. It didn't cost me anything.
Chris, are they just the spikes or are they plate too?
Just the spikes,
Spike?
just an inverted U
Yeah.
shape kind of a
I've
thing.
seen them.
And I guess you can buy something called landscape spikes that, like Lowe's, that do the same thing. Huh?
They're steel,
Okay.
just regular,
So they eventually rust out?
yeah, they eventually go.
Okay.
Takes a couple of years.
Yeah, but probably by then your radials are buried anyway, right?
Right.
So you probably don't really care, but, yeah, I still say go get bobby pins.
Bobby pins work well.
Yeah.
Oh,
I bought a tub of bobby pins that was there's over 1,000 of them probably for $2 or $3 back in that day.
anybody have
I guess
noticed?
what I'm using is hard drum copper. Hard drum copper is what I'm using for the antenna radios.
For the radials themselves, you mean?
That's it.
Okay.
I was wondering if anybody had noticed the 40-meter opening the last few days.
I've seen people say that it's been especially good.
Talked to somebody in the Ukraine that, I think my radio puts out 75 watts, but
Uh-huh.
my 895.
Yeah.
And I talked to somebody in the Ukraine, he says 5'9".
Mm-hmm.
He was 5'7" coming in here, and he was a QRP. He was running 5 watts.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I thought that was something else.
Yeah, because it's hard to get for one thing, it's hard to get, a low angle antenna on 40.
To talk
And,
perfect English,
mm-hmm.
but you could tell he had an accent.
Yeah.
And he said he'd been to America 7 or 8 times. Contact was at least 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Because we identified 3 times, so maybe it was a little longer than that.
Uh-huh. And so it's actual reg chew.
Yeah, it was just nothing but a contact.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear the Ukraine on the floor?
Okay, anybody else, folks? Bill's wanting to get set up for the bars meeting here, so, Yeah. All righty, one last call, folks. It's about 7:21. If nobody else has anything, we'll clear out of here and let bars get set up for their meeting. And I'm going to go home and watch hockey. Okay, see some of you this coming Thursday then at the luncheon.